So you started taking Tonkat Ali.
I did.
How has that felt?
Yeah, it's been really good. Rock solid every morning. Um, just general energy levels much better. And one thing I noticed was much lower stress levels and resilience throughout the day. Because when I go to work and stuff, the commute normally takes a lot out of me, jam-packed on the trains. It's just exhausting and then mentally tired, mentally stressed, mentally fatigued. But on the first day of taking it, my ability to handle that stress was much better and just overall calm, much calmer overall and more resilient, I think, in just how I move about and my ability to handle pressure is has gone up. And yeah, that's huge, really, because stress, the hormone cortisol gets lowered, and as a consequence, testosterone goes up, much calmer. And one night, I didn't get as much sleep as I would have liked, and I felt it the next day. But even when I was taking Concat Ali, my strength in the gym just went up automatically. It didn't it didn't matter that obviously it wasn't ideal that I didn't get enough sleep, but I was still able to push through and not find it very difficult to break new personal records and to handle stress. And normally when I'm in the gym, I'm really pushing myself and the intensity is high and my heart rate can go up quite a bit and I feel like I'm panting quite a lot. But since taking Tonkat, my resting heart rate has been, I think, much lower, well, not much lower, but a bit lower, and I'm able to remain calm throughout the day in situations and in the gym when I'm pushing really hard. So, and been, it's given me the ability to just push through new records because sometimes I used to get in my head like, oh, I have to push this. I have to push this weight and push more than I did last week. And sometimes when I'm tired, I don't feel like doing that, or I'm hesitant to do that because I feel like I'm not going to break the new record. But since taking Tonkat, I just felt more confident and certain that I could break the new record on a heavy lift. And yeah, it's been really useful that way. And just general stamina throughout the day, endurance in my energy levels, much better, huge ROI. And also it has decreased my procrastination as well. It's helped. Obviously, mindset is the main thing when it comes to that, but it does help to lower that resistance to getting shit done and just not overthinking it and just doing it.
Yeah, like doing the hard things when you don't feel like doing it. I think that's big in the gym where when you're looking for that progressive overload, you know that you need to be doing that bit more each time, but your body is always going to want to pull you away from that. You're going to feel that little bit of discomfort, and then you're going to want to go away from it because it's not a comfortable feeling. But I suppose it's just being better able to handle that, to just not let that little bit of discomfort tell you to stop when your body feels like it's given up, because all of us have way more reps in us, way more anything. We're capable of pushing ourselves so much more than we think, and the mind wants to keep us comfortable with staying where we are. But that's, I think, why a lot of people stay stuck with anything, is that you're sticking to what's familiar. You're not going beyond what you've done before, and that's why you're not progressing more than you have done before.
True. It's made it so much easier to, I mean, normally I was always pushing myself in the gym, but there were days where I knew I didn't get enough sleep or not enough calories in, so I knew I was going to be weaker in the gym. But and that affected my mindset, which inherently affected my performance in the gym. So since taking tongkat, that has just kind of gone away, and don't get me wrong, like I'm still trying my best to dial in the sleep, the diet. Those are the most important things. And then, yeah, the tongkat is like an added boost to help me push myself even harder in the gym and not be not be limited by my mindset if I was having a bad day or if my sleep was a bit less.
So I guess you're going through life with less attachment, less worry to stuff. You just, I guess you're able to like better lean into that sense that probably all of us should have, where just that relaxed sense of productivity, where you're able to get stuff done. You're not stressing too much about what's to come because you can't control it. You're not obsessing over the past. You're just focusing on what you're doing right now, which I guess is a good thing to carry with you.
Yeah, I've definitely become a lot more present, just and also more confident in the way that I carry myself. I have sounds silly, but when you're walking down the street and someone's also walking towards you, I used to like get anxious a bit and like this was long ago and now it's better, but since I've been taking Tonka, it's even better. I used to like try and avoid eye contact or I'd get a bit like nervous or whatever. um, I'm kind of exaggerating, but it was a bit like that. And now I don't get that. Especially, I know in the past I used to be like when I was walking towards like a pretty girl and she was also walking, I would get nervous and stuff, but not not anymore at all. Like be, before taking Tonkat, it was better, just general maturing and stuff. But since taking Tonkat, it's kind of like I really don't care about. And in the gym also, I think I carry myself with more presence, and weirdly, people like notice that, or they'll be like more respectful. They'll like move out of the way for you, and like try to help. They'll like if I was asking for if I could use the rope, they they would like hand it to me and stuff instead of me having to pick it up. Just small things like that I feel like have changed subtly in the gym and just out in the world. So definitely huge benefit. And I'm not like materially or physically that much bigger than I was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Of course not. I think it's people underestimate how much the way you carry yourself and the confidence in yourself really impacts the way that people treat you. Just thought that was something interesting.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that with changing how definitely I've carried myself the last few months, like since I went through the big shift, like back in the last year, and opened up about health stuff that I've kept quiet for like 18 months. And since then, I think having put all the stuff out there and opening up more on social media, feeling like I could be more of who I am, I definitely feel like, because yes, physically I have grown since like January, but mentally, just the feeling of not caring so much about what other people think and just walking around with a more sense of confidence just in myself and everything that I've been doing. And like I said, not even that physically you might not be massively different, but I think once you start committing to a path, you start doing all the things that you know that you need to be doing. I think the change is always probably mental before physical, but I think it would be good to go more into the thing on approach anxiety, because that's been a huge thing for me as a personal trainer in the gym, where you've got to learn to approach people, speak to people, build relationships, build connections, book sessions, and turn these people into clients if they're the right fit. Because naturally, for me, that was, or still is, a very hard thing to do, to just go up to someone and just, it's a bit easier in the gym where you're a personal trainer, you have a reason to approach someone, you can give them advice on stuff or feedback or whatever. But I think for both of us, that approach, making that initial contact with someone else, probably don't come natural to us. So, I mean, how's your experience been with that in the past, and how has that changed now?
Yeah, in in the past, like maybe a few years ago, it would absolutely terrify me. But now, or maybe like a year ago when I was working at the gym, I had to like get survey responses. We were doing a survey about their experience in the gym, and I didn't really have much of a problem just going up to people, asking them for like their survey response or whatever. I mean, it's a bit different to asking them to sign up for coaching, but it was it's still approaching people and just randomly in the gym when they're trying to do their workout. You don't want to interrupt them too much. And yeah, even with someone I found attractive, it was fine. It was easy. I find that over time, as you get more confident, as you become more certain in yourself, especially now since optimizing my hormones and stuff, I'm able to look people directly in the eye more and maintain eye contact much more than I used to be able to. And that's a huge thing just for how people perceive your presence and how much you're genuinely listening to them and not just always going, yeah, 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 and like not really actively listening to what they're saying. and that garners you more respect if you're just able to remain calm and actually listen to the other person and hear what they're saying and respond in an appropriate manner and not spew out a bunch of bullshit because you weren't listening.
And you find, I've definitely found kind of through doing that when you take things a bit slower and you can be more observant of like the other person's body language and how they're receiving the things that you're saying to them, which is big in like obviously in like sales and like a bit of like any kind of relationships. But yeah, you just take things a bit slower and more relaxed. And I think a big thing that I've kind of like learned going through or still trying to now with like if it's in the gym booking tasters or just approaching people in general, it's not, don't expect anything from it. Just like not, you're not going in there, you're not going to go speak to that person to get them as a client. You're going in to just to speak to them, to build a relationship, to see where they're at, see what they're struggling with, help them, and then if the need is there, then that's when you can open the door to, if they need help, then go for it. But I think in anything, go into it without any expectation. You don't need anything from it. You're just going in there to say hi to another person and just leave it at that. And because I think the biggest barrier is just starting it, just that first hello, how are you? But once you get past that, it's so much easier to just find something to connect on, speak about, or whatever that thing is. But I think definitely in the gym for me right now, which is still something I struggle with. And I think the more you think about it, the more you talk yourself out of it. It's just that like 3 second rule of like, you see something you want to speak to, you think about it, you just have to do it. The more you think about it, the more you're going to talk yourself out of it, which I think goes with any or a lot of decisions in life. Just you just got to bite the bullet when the opportunity's there and don't overthink it.
And just dropping the outcome and not expecting anything, not really caring and about the outcome or the result, and just going there calm naturally. It takes all the pressure away and it just makes you much more relaxed, and you're probably more likely to get what you want because you've kind of said to yourself in your mind that you don't really need it, you don't need what you need. Some people interpret it as more spiritual stuff, like we can't have what we do not already have type thing, like, and letting go of not needing and living in abundance, and the universe rewards you for that, and you sort of attract more rather than chasing constantly. It's probably, I mean, I like to think of it that way, but there probably is some real science behind it, even down to if you're stressed and your cortisol levels are high, then you might, people people can read that, and through body language, that's how much of that is, like, we all know that body language is much more in terms of communication than simply verbal communication. Um, so I think it affects everything down to the physiological level.
I think there is something in that. Like the more you want something, the more you try and force stuff, the less likely it is that it's gonna come to you. I think it's in reality transfer thing, something about like the negative energy or something like that, where I do think it's true where like, yeah, the more you try, the more you push yourself away from what you want. You need that level of detachment. And there's that saying in sales where like the person that usually wins the deal is the person that needs it the least. So if you go into it needing it, you come across as desperate, you just push the other person further and further away. You got to go into it with the mindset of like, you don't need it. You are the prize, not to be arrogant, but you're fine whether or not you get it or not. And if you present everything right, you connect where they are to where they want to be and how your product, your service can solve that, then if it's the right fit, then you'll get it. I don't believe so much in the like manifesting, just believe and you will get what you want, because you have to do the stuff. But it's doing the stuff, doing the right stuff, and keeping that relaxed sense of doing the stuff, taking action, and being detached from the outcome.
That's why I prefer the law of detachment rather than the law of attraction, because the law of attraction is like saying, you can think your way to achieving your goals, or like just manifesting with just your mind. But the law of detachment says that if you just detach yourself from the outcome and you perform anyway, you're more likely to attract what you want, because as you said, you're not giving away that desperate energy, you're not pushing too hard, you're not pushing people. You're fine without it. Well, if you get it, great. If you don't, you're still fine. You don't need it.
You heard of the reticular activating system,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is, because admittedly, like, I've not, because I used to be doing like loads of visualization and like you try and like quote unquote manifest by like you visualize where you want to be, you feel what it's going to be like to have that life. And I think there is merit to it where you're putting yourself in the future that you want, you're feeling the feelings of how it's going to feel, and then that in turn it might be changing how you show up and the actions that you take and the opportunities that you seek out, because you primed your minds to see the right things and maybe take the right risks. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe something to start doing
Mm.
again, because yeah, go on.
Yeah, you reminded me about how manifesting actually works is, and you mentioned the reticular activating system, where you're basically priming your subconscious to have these thoughts, and then these positive thoughts that are more likely to put you in the right mindset for achieving your goals. And yeah, it works by thoughts leads to feelings, and then feelings lead to action, action leads to results. So it's basically getting yourself in the right frame of mind so that you feel the positive energy, you feel a certain type of way that makes you more driven and motivated to go after your goals and take action, and then you achieve the result. I think that's basically what particular the point of the reticular activation system and manifesting in general.
Yeah, I think in the opposite way, because I know we were saying about last week how, at least what I was at the time feeling after the client decides to leave, when you feel like stuff is starting to go badly, and then you get caught in the negative spiral where you then only look at the negatives of your situation. You feel like everything's falling apart, and you just put yourself in this mindset of scarcity where you feel like everything's going badly and all the good stuff is falling apart, and that part of the brain is going to keep you in that loop. You keep focusing on what's going wrong, and it just pulls you down and down and down to the point where, same with manifesting in the good way, where in the opposite way you stop doing the stuff that you know you need to do. Maybe you start making the wrong decisions and start panicking. And admittedly, like, I'm still kind of like half in that situation where couple of weeks where you've maybe not had much going for you as you like, and you then start wanting to like chase the like quick fixes and the stuff that you think is going to help you in the short term, but a lot of the time you need to zoom out, focus on the things that have worked to get you to where you are now, and those might not be things that pay off immediately, but usually the quick wins aren't always sustainable. So it's about taking a step back, reminding yourself what are the like key actions that you need to do that might not get you to where you want to be tomorrow, but you know that they're compounding, they're going to move you forward in the long run. And just not panicking. It's again that sense of detachment that I'm okay. Because I think when you get to that panicking mode, you feel like your brain goes into fear, which back in the day would have been like the consequence would have been death. But obviously, in the world that we're in now, it never or very rarely is it going to be that deep. But intuitively, it feels like that. So it's just about zooming out, getting perspective, and even with like approaching people, you realize that what is the worst case scenario, because it's not really there. And I suppose with that increased confidence, with the like with the tongkat alley, with the testosterone, you have that and you build that sense of not caring so much because the consequences aren't really there. And I think it's just the way that you perceive everything.
Yeah, that's why I think it's important really to optimize your health and your hormones because you'll just act the right way naturally. You won't be thinking about all this stuff. Yeah, it's useful, especially like you need the right mindset for this kind of thing and approaching people and not procrastinating and stuff. And it really helps massively if you're in the right physiological state and your health is dialed in, just makes things flow so much easier and you're not forcing yourself trying to act a different type of way. You just are that way when you're healthy in your mind and your body. But moving on, I wanted to, I thought it was a good question. What's one thing that you learned, something new this week?
I think I was thinking on Thursday because I held another one of our group calls, which so it's only like the third one that I've ran, but it was making me think. 'Cause the first one went really well. We had like 8 on the call, and then the second week we literally none show up. I ran it anyway and recorded it. Third one, there was 4, I think, showed up, but it got me thinking how reflecting back on where I was, like we were saying before, like a year ago or like even 6 months ago, that I would have never thought that's something that I would have been able to do. And I won't lie, I left that last call feeling deflated that we only had 4 people on the call. But I think it's that thing of like enough never feels like enough where you get to a certain point, and if you actually step back and like had perspective, you would have loved to have been able to do that back where you were before, but suddenly you do it, you get to it, and then at least from where I was a few weeks ago, it felt like less than that, but definitely the sense of it doesn't feel like enough. And I guess it's like whatever level you're at, whatever level of success you reach, it never feels like enough. But just reminding to keep that big picture view that things are moving forward, that I'm doing better than I was before, and that's all that really matters because we're all on our own timelines. And I think sometimes maybe in my mind I'm trying to be further ahead than I am. I'm trying to like rush the process, but trying to learn to be not proud, I don't know if that's the right word, like be more, I guess in a sense, yeah, be proud of how far you have come and the things you're doing now that old you wouldn't have believed that you could have done, because it's easy to just get caught up in the loop of needing more and more. I think that's been one thing I've taken away from this week.
Is that, yeah, it sounds cliche, but it really is the journey, not the destination. And you always, as you said, gonna want to keep wanting more, and it's never gonna be enough. But you gotta just enjoy the process. Uh,
Yeah, and I think on that, I think because everyone, obviously, we all know that it's about the journey and not the destination, and everyone will always say that after they've achieved X goal, but when you're in the middle of it, it feels uncertain. You don't know what's up ahead. You don't know if you're going to make it, if you're going to get to where you want to be. But obviously, if you're looking at it with hindsight, you know how it all worked out. You know that it all worked out fine, and you can look back and realize that you didn't need to worry so much. But I think it's just when you're in the middle of it and you're doubting and questioning yourself, you don't know if it's going to work out or where the future is going to lead. So I think it's just that uncertainty that makes you doubt everything. But I guess it's something that you can only realize in hindsight, and you just have to trust the process, even when you doubt yourself and you have a bad month and you feel like stuff's falling apart. But again, focusing back on the actions that you're taking and trust in trust yourself and trust in the process, trust in the universe that stuff will come. Just give it time.
yeah, I'll I'll tell you one thing I learned was I was getting quite impatient with my whole business journey, content creation journey, and like, why are things not moving faster? Or I would, and I'd get quite bitter about my my day job, and like, I'd be thinking, oh, if I didn't have this job, I could go all in on my business. I'd have more time and energy. I'd have more drive to go after it. But something I've learned recently, and it's something that Ben Francis said, the co-founder, I mean, founder of Gymshark. I actually met him when I was 16 at a Gymshark meetup in London. I'll pop up a picture on the screen if I can find it. But really nice guy, really humble. And he said I started following him lately on a reel, and he said on a podcast, like keep your job while if you have a job, keep your job while you're building the business because you can use that job as stability and for survival and living expenses, and you can reinvest all profits back into the business without using the profits as for living expenses. And I just thought that was just so powerful, and it's kind of like superpower because you're building from a position of stability rather than weakness when you're if you don't have a job, you don't have a place to live, you're stressed, you don't have money coming in, it just puts a lot more stress on your nervous system and your your creative output is probably not going to be as high quality. And yeah, I used to shit a lot on like, oh, fuck, fuck this job, fuck working, but I am in a better place now than I was a year ago when I didn't have any money coming in, and it just gives you more time and space to breathe and to actually work on your business without being worried and stressed about, how am I gonna pay for food or rent or whatever. And yeah, I just thought that was really, really powerful, and it allows you to build from strength and stability.
Yeah, because I'm in that place where like I kind of have gone for the past like 12 months just all in on one thing. And I've been fortunate to be able to do that. But obviously, when it is all or nothing, at times it can feel hard when that's your only source of income that you're relying on, especially if you're like wanting to like reinvest that back into what you're doing and maybe stuff doesn't come in as much as you want, but there definitely is use in having the backup where you can you're not like you're not slacking off, but it's just that safety net that you have that there because I guess if you have that, I know when I did have a second job that all you want is you think you want to be out of that and in all in on the one thing, but there's struggles either way. You're either you've got that other job to sustain yourself, to keep yourself going alongside the thing that you want to go all in on, or you have the struggle of and arguably like more stress of like going all in on that one thing where it's more uncertain. And yes, you don't have the other job, but you then have to put up with the doubt, the uncertainty of just having the one thing. So yeah, there's hard things both sides of it, and I think you just have to like weigh up what is the bad stuff that you want to deal with.
Yeah, because a lot of people in the online business space, they always shit on like the 9 to 5 and like fuck the 9 to 5 and escape the matrix, and they're just renting these fake Lambos in Dubai and flexing them. And I used to listen to those people, and instead of people like Ben Francis who've like built a real like billion-dollar business from nothing. And he was, yeah, saying how he used to work at Pizza Hut, and while on the side he was building his business. I used to think, oh, if I didn't have this job, I would have more drive and energy and time to go after what I want. But then I was thinking, if I didn't have this job, I wouldn't be so comfortable. I got things pretty good right now, and it's easy to get complacent. But I think just reframing that of, yes, being grateful for what you have and appreciating the things around you, that doesn't mean you can't be ambitious and want more and strive for more. And just reframing that in your mind that having a job is not holding me back, is actually allowing me to, it's giving me breathing room and allowing me to build from a relaxed, calm state, not under stress from worrying about how I'm gonna pay for stuff. So yeah, I think that's been quite a bit of a shift in my mindset lately. And I mean, I kind of knew it before, but I just didn't want to accept it. I was always like, no, I have to go all in, I have to quit the job and go all in on the business. But I think that only really makes sense once your income from your business is consistently surpassing that of your job. So I think that's probably the smarter way to do it. And a lot of online people don't want to say that because it gets less clicks, it gets less views. They're like, no, quit the job, go all in. That'll force you to push yourself to go all in and make it happen. But life that doesn't always work that way. Things go sideways. Unexpected things happen. You get an injury. You got to pay a few $1,000s to, and then that's your set. That's like might take out a big chunk of your savings, and which could have been used to reinvest back into the business. And yeah, just stuff like that has been quite an eye opener to me, and just a general maturing in my entrepreneurial mindset. So thank you guys for listening, for tuning in. Hopefully you resonated or learned some stuff from this episode. We want to keep pumping out useful, different insights from our own experiences, and want to start talking about more niche stuff. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you'll stay for that and join our school community of like-minded brothers where you can connect, you can learn, we can help each other out. It's free. First link in the description. And where can they find you, Joe?
So on Instagram, Joe Penrose _, YouTube, Joe _Penrose, as an online coach. So yeah, go check me out on either those or Facebook if you use Facebook. And where can they find you?
Yeah, if you want to watch some of my stuff on YouTube, I post just lifestyle content, vlogs. You can find me at Philip Solomon 777. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, just send me a DM. I'll reply at Philip _Michael _Souls. It'll be in the description. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.